Okay, Gita Vach, Rabbi Isai, Mazel Dika Vach, a Heilige Vach this week, Heilige Vach. So, one of the most exciting halachas that you can learn, and I remember when I started this myself, it was just like so exciting, is for sure the halachas of Mezuza. It's such a gewaldige shaila. It's such a gewaldige visual idea because it's one of the very few halachas that when you learn it, when you see things, you'll be like, okay, these guys have no idea what they're talking about. There are two halachas, by the way, that when you learn the halachas, you'll start to realize people have no idea what they're talking about because you could see. Right? A lot of halachas you don't see people doing, you don't know. So, for example, the first one is Hilchos Mezuza. You'll see people, when you learn the halachas, you're like, okay, these guys don't know Hilchos Mezuza. You'll see, somebody knocked on my door one time, right? You guys have been to my house a couple of times. There's no name, right? There's no name tag, there's no name thing on the door itself. Whatever, why, but somebody knocked on the door, an elderly guy, and he knocked on the door and he says, I managed to find you right away, even if it didn't have your name. I said, how'd you do that? He said, you're the only house with a mezuzah in the right place on the door. Everybody else has it on the wrong place. I figured this obviously is your house. Al Kapanim. The second halacha is Peyas HaRosh. It's another thing as well, which hopefully maybe we'll get to later on this week. Another one of the things, you look around, you learn halachas, oy vay. It's, whatever. We'll get to it when we get to it. But Al Kapanim, there's many, many shilas in the business world that are nageya to this. Okay, many shilas that are nageya to the business world. For example, okay, giving you some of the shilas that I hope to be getting to Be'ezus Hashem Yisbarach. Shilah number one. An office. You're renting an office. Does an office require a mezuzah? Number two, I'm renting a warehouse where I store all of my things. I've got all my machinery, I've got my whatever it is that I'm storing in the warehouse for my business. Do I have to put a mezuzah on that? Shaila number three, what if I'm in a partnership with a goy? Very, very common shaila, this one. I'm in a partnership with a goy. Me and the goy own the warehouse or the office or whatever it may be together. What din does that have? Do I have to have a mezuzah or not? What about if, for example, if you're going away on a business meeting for a while, whatever it may be, does it need to have a mezuzah, the place that you're staying? The shilas are endless when it comes to mezuzah. Do I have to have a cover that's see-through, or do I have a cover that's not see-through? Is there really enough kamina la halacha between a see-through cover and a not see-through cover? Like, what's the difference what type of mezuzah case I buy? The answer is there's a huge nafkamina what type of mezuzah case that you buy, right? Whether it's in the office or whether it's in the home. There are so many shilas, which, by the way, of course, as we always say, with this series of shilas, the series that we're doing right now is nageya in your home. It's nageya to many people all over the world, right? Throughout the whole day, throughout the whole year. But we're going to try to concentrate specifically on the business aspect of Hilchos Mezuza and how it applies to different situations. Today, what I'm going to do, Be'ezus Hashem, is just give a bit of a hagdama, as we try to do. Right? The first share is going to be a hagdama. Be'ezus Hashem, next share is going to be many of the halachas that we spoke about with some of the shilas that we mentioned as well. So, of course, as a hagdama to Hilchos Mezuza, we know that we mention the halacha in the Torah of Mezuza numerous times throughout the day. That, of course, is the makar for the halacha of a mezuzah, and it's a very important thing. In fact, the Rambam, when he talks about Hilchos Mezuza, the Rambam says that every single time you enter and exit your doorway, you remember the Av of the Rabbeinu Shalom, and the Lashon of the Rambam, it's meant to awaken you from your slumber. Sometimes you're just walking around like a robot. You're not thinking about Hashem. You're not dveikus to Hashem. There's nothing going on over there. When you walk past the Mezuzah, that, says the Rambam, should remind you that the Rabbeinu Shalom is there at any time in that case. Now, it's interesting because the mitzvah of mezuzah is described very clearly as a mitzvah that gives you a long life. Right? It's a very, very important thing. So it's a gewaldige mitzvah that tells us that a person gets long life. In fact, it's quite clear, by the way, not only in the Torah, but paskin in Shulchan Aruch as well. If you look in Yeridei Siman Reish Pehei, right? The lashon over here is you have to be very careful in mezuzah. And anyone that does, Yarichu Yomov Vivnei Bonov. So that means not only if a person is Makayim the mezuzah in the correct way, he's lengthening his own life, but also the life of his children. And that is an amazing, amazing thing. Now, by the way, when we say being careful in mezuzah, we don't only mean buying the mezuzah, we also mean not only putting it up, but make sure it's in the right place, at the right situation, right? Many people don't know. Those of you that have been to certain buildings here in Yerushalayim, you've noticed, maybe, or maybe you haven't, that you have sometimes two mezuzahs, one on either side of the doorway. I don't know if anyone, right? Shimon knows exactly what I'm talking about. Depending on where you go and where you hang out late on a Friday night by the Tish, you'll see that there's two mezuzahs, one on either side of the doorway. Where does that come from? Like, really? Is that a thing? Like, when I walk past, I have to kiss both? How does that work? So that is a shaila, which we'll get to. By the way, there's a Mordecai Gemara. The Gemara in Menachos tells us, Lamed Gimel Lamed Beis, the Gemara tells us in Menachos, the Gavaldige Zach, says the Gemara in Menachos, this mitzvah is the most amazing idea of protection that the Rabbeinu Shalom gives Klal Yisrael. Why? Says the Gemara in Menachos like this. Says the Gemara, a human king, where does a human king sit? Take, for example, the King of England. Where is he sitting? Inside Buckingham Palace. He doesn't actually live there, right? He lives in... Yudla's getting very, very excited right now. Yudla's getting very, very excited, right? He's getting very patriotic, very excited. So where he doesn't live there, by the way, does he, right? No, he doesn't. How's that? No, what?
Windsor Castle.
He's not in Windsor, is he? No, he's not. I don't think so.
He's dead. Windsor Castle.
All right, whatever it is. So the King of England, where is he sitting? He's sitting inside. And then you got the guards with the spuddicks all the way around him, right, guarding him. That's how it works, right? As I state in the Gemara. The Gemara Menachos says that how it works with a Goyisha human king is that you have the king on the inside and the guards are around him making sure he's protected. Zog the Gemara Menachos, the Rabbeinu Shalom is nicht azay. What's the pshat? Zog the Gemara, the Rabbeinu Shalom is by the Mezuza guarding you. You're inside, and the Melech Malach HaMelachim is on the outside, making sure that you are protected, which is a very important thing, which, by the way, the inyan of having a shakuf, a see-through mezuzah case, it's a big inyan, by the way, I'll be showing him whatever, but one of the reasons is that you have to see the shakai, the shin, dalad, and the yud, which of course stand for shomer diras yisrael. All right, because it's a shmira. There's a shaila, even if you've got a thick doorpost, where do you place the mezuzah? Most people put it exactly in the middle because it looks nice, right? It doesn't have to look nice. It has to be la halacha, and that is on the outermost of the doorpost, so it protects more of the inside, which is very important. Again, maybe we'll get to some of these shailas. Maybe we won't, but that's an important thing to remember. Listen to this, Rabbi Isai. The Shari Tshuva brings that mezuzah is Kabbalas oil Malchus Shamayim. There's a Tosfos in Masechta Shabbos, Daf Kuf Lamed Aleph Amud Aleph. Zuk Tosfos. Every single second the mezuzah is on, a person is Mekayim a mitzvah. That means if he doesn't have a mezuzah, or if it's in the wrong place, then you're over. Then the person is not going to be, he's not Mekayim this Gevaldige mitzvah in that case. It's a very special shmira, the Lashon of the Modcha, that brings the Maram, that says a bias with a mezuzah, muftach, she'ena shum mazik sholet boy, guaranteed that there will be no damage that's done to that house over there. Those of you familiar with the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, Daf Yud Aleph, Omen Aleph, with the story of Unclus Ayin Shom, with the Gemaisa over there, Lagabe the Mezuzah. So it's very, very important that a person understands the Mezuzah. By the way, Gemara in Shabbos, Chov Gimel Amud Beis. What does the Gemara say? Hazoyeh b'Mezuzah. If a person is careful in a Mezuzah, Zoyche l'dira no. You'll be zeicha to a nice house. So you state the Gemara. So if you want to be zeicha to a nice house, make sure you have a nice mezuzah. In fact, with Sheinberg Zatzal, in Mishmeres Chaim, on one of his shailas there, Yehida, actually said this shaila. He wants to declare the shaila if there's an inyan to have a nice house to hold the mezuzah. Just like there's an inyan to have a nice menorah to hold the oil, and just like there's an inyan to have a nice esrog box to hold the esrog. Why is it with Shaimik is there not an inyan to have a nice house only to hold the mezuzah? Zeh kelim v'ameru, to hold the mezuzah like anything else. With Shaimik Ayin Shom Mishmeres Chaim Chele Gimel over there where he talks about it over there. Gemara Menachos Mem Gimel Omid Beis says the Gemara. When a person has a mezuzah, muchzak hu shelo yachta, it stops a person from doing averas. It's a protection not only from physical damages, but also spiritual damages in that case, which is a very, very important thing for a person to remember. The Zohar Kodesh brings down that the word Mezuza, if you take the words, the letters of Mezuza, the Zohar Kodesh, is Zoz Moves, move, death. And therefore it's an idea once again for Haigir Shimon Bar Yochai that it is considered to be a Gavaldige Shmira in that case over there. Zuk the Rambam, don't put up a Mezuza for this protection. Don't put it up for this reason. Put it up because Rabban Shalom said so, Kashetziva Hashem. That's why you put a Mezuza in that case. You don't do it for any other reason. And of course, when you buy a mezuzah, make sure you buy it from a choshev yid, right? For example, Moshe Shtamach has a tshuva, and tshuva is van Hagos Chadibeis, where he discusses the shaila of whether or not a person spends a lot of money on an insurance policy, but he doesn't buy good mezuzahs. He buys the cheapest mezuzahs, because why not? But when it comes to insurance policy, he wants to have the best one. Moshe Shtamach Shlita, a mezuzah is your best insurance policy. But again, make sure you get it from a choshev guy. A fellow calls me up one time. He says to me like this. He says to me, I'm buying a new house, and I have 11, 12 doorways, whatever it is, that I need to put brand new mezuzahs on. I said, that's wonderful, very good. He said, do you have any suggestions of who I can go to buy a serious, good Yerushalayim sofa mezuzah? So we handled backwards and forwards, and in the conversation it came out that his shver is a sofa who writes mezuzahs. So I said, I don't understand, why are you calling me? Just go to your shver. No. He says, no, son, I learned the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says you need to have a Yerushalayim. My shver, I'm not going to him. So we made a few of the cheshbonos, whatever. So I said, we came out like this. His shver is a gewaldig yid, a choshev yid, whatever. He doesn't maybe hold of his shver, whatever. That's a different sugya. That should be dealt with at a different time, maybe Thursdays at 6 o'clock. But upon him, what it should be done, I told him, if your shver is a choshev yid, then he's better than Yerushalayim. You want better than that, whatever it is. There's another problem of kibbut over aim, right? Yeridei Simon Reish Mem, where it talks about the Shaila V'Yetzei Yisrei Likras Al Chaystav. That's the Halacha in Shulchan Aruch and Yeridei Simon Reish Mem, that even your shver requires kibbud. If that's the case, if you're going to mezalzel your shver, who knows you're buying a new apartment, and he knows you're not getting mezuzahs from him, not kedai to be mezalzel in that, just to have an extra mile of Yerushalayim, as long as of course you're buying it from Yerushalayim. So Rabbi say, this is just a Hagdama. Mezuzah is an extremely important and geschmack and interesting shaila. We're going to get to a little bit more, but Be'ez Hashem, next time when we'll discuss some more of the shailas that we mentioned in the Hagdama, what we're going to do. Be'ez Hashem, have an amazing and wonderful and beautiful day.